tree. This is a ginkgo, and there's another one there, and there's a couple of little ones there. We also have ginkgos over near the chapel. There's a big one over there, a big female one. There's also one near WPC, and where the bio building is sitting, there were a whole bunch of ginkgo trees there before, which are obviously gone now. Ginkgo trees are unisexuals, right? The word for that is dioecious. D-I-O-E-C-I-O-U-S. D-I-O-E-C-I-O-U-S. Dioecious means two houses. Sexes are in two houses. And that means when you have a dioecious species, you have a male and a female in separate individuals. Humans are dioecious. The opposite of that is monoecious. M-O-N-O-E-C-I-O-U-S, meaning one house, the sexes are in one house. Are there any animals that have both sexes in one body?
Hermaphrodites.
Hermaphroditic animals. There are some worms, snails. Yeah, there's several of them. We're going to learn about them. So we have monoecious animals and dioecious. It's the same with plants, although in plants it's a little more complicated. But ginkgos are dioecious. Okay, so this is a female tree. What are these?
Ovaries.
They are, well, okay. Well, let's think now. Is this a gymnosperm or an angiosperm? It's a gymnosperm. Okay. Does it have an ovary?
Oh, nucellus?
Yeah, it doesn't have an ovary. So this can't, so basically there's no fruit. This is basically a seed. Each one of these is a seed. And this squishy outer covering is the seed coat or the integument. Remember I told you the integument has 3 layers? This outer layer is fleshy and soft and goopy. That's the outer layer of the integument. It smells bad. It smells like rotten butter. It's the same chemical, butyric acid. Then I've got this nice nut-like thing. It almost looks like a pistachio without the shell removed. This is the middle layer of the integument, which is hard. And then if I crack that open, there'd be a membranous layer in there. That's the inner layer, or the third layer of the integument. And then inside of that, what should be inside of that last integument layer? The nucellus, then the megaspore wall, then the megagametophyte, and an embryo. This is a seed. They're all in there. If I crack that open, there's this big, fleshy megagametophyte with an embryo in it, and it's edible. Okay. These are consumed in Asia as a food product, and they have various names. I know it in Japanese, ginnan. In Japanese, it's got different names in different cultures. It's quite, well, it's kind of bland tasting. It's kind of, I don't know, it's okay. It's okay. And what happens is Chinese ladies walk through here this time of the year. These are our neighbors to the campus. They walk through, I know some of them. And what they do is they pick these up and they just go like this. And then they keep doing that, and they're popping these kernels into their hand and throwing the skins on the ground. That's why you'll see them all popped here, because they've all been collected and they eat these. Either you're going to buy them in the market or you're going to collect them here.
Yeah, it's
So, what is the phylum?
Ginkgo biloba.
Ginkgophyta. What is the species?
Ginkgo biloba.
Ginkgo biloba. The genus is Ginkgo. G-I-N-K-G-O. G-I-N-K G-I-N-G-O. On the exam, a lot of you spelled it G-I-N-G-K-O or G-I-N-K-O. It's G-I-N-G-K-O.
KGO?
But G-I-N-
I'm so confused. Okay.
KGO, like the radio station, 810 AM. G-I-N, now I'm getting confused. G-I-N-K-G-O.
Yeah.
That's ginkgo. The epithet is biloba. B-I-L-O-B-A. I think I put that on the board in class. Ginkgo biloba, ginkgo phyta. I mentioned it's the only living ginkgo left in the world. If you look in the fossil record, there were hundreds of species of ginkgos 200 million years ago, and they were all over the world. In fact, California had ginkgos. They're all extinct though. What happened is this. This species, its last stand was in China, and about 2,000 years ago or longer, Buddhist monks collected the seeds and brought them into the monasteries and grew them as ornamental trees. And they've been doing that for a couple thousand years because they're good looking. Out in nature, meanwhile, they went extinct. There are no ginkgos in nature. They're all extinct. It is an extinct species in nature. It only lives under human cultivation. It's called a living fossil. I don't know if I talked about that in class, but I did. You know, the person who, the Westerner who first discovered it, he was a German and he was visiting Japan. This is the 1700s. And he visited a temple in, I think it was in the island of Kyushu, if I remember correctly. And he walked into the yard and there are ginkgo trees growing there. And this guy realized this is the fossil tree that we've named as an extinct species. And here it is living as a living species in Japan. That's the equivalent of Tyrannosaurus rex is extinct, right? We have the fossils. It's been named T-Rex. And then we discover, like in Paraguay or something, there are T-Rexes running around the woods. It's been discovered. It's that kind of a discovery. Okay, named, known as a fossil, named as a fossil, assumed extinct, found to be alive. They brought the seeds to Europe. Actually, that explorer did. And this was actually, he was working in the Netherlands, and he planted the trees there, and the remnants of those trees are still growing where he planted them all those hundreds of years ago. So the name, when he asked the monks, what do you call this tree? They called it ginkgo. And he named it ginkgo. So it's a corrupted transliteration of what those monks called it. That's how we got the name. I think in Chinese it's pinyin. It's got different, and most Japanese today call it icho no ki. In other words, that old name isn't used anymore. So it's got different names depending on where it is. Today it's grown all over the world. It's grown as a street tree, parks, on campus. It's part of the nursery trade. You can go to Home Depot and buy a ginkgo tree. But it's got that long history, that strange history. They're deciduous. That's a weird thing about these. The fan-shaped leaves have a funny shape for a leaf. In the fall, they're going to fall off. They will fall off. You can see they're starting. And they usually turn a golden color. And then they fall, and what happens is you've got this golden fans falling everywhere, and it's very pretty. Then the tree goes barren, and then it's not very good looking. They're not all that good looking in the winter. And then when they leaf out in the spring, they leaf out kind of late. So they're kind of this barren skeleton for quite a long time. This tree next to us here, that's a male. You're not going to find seeds under it. It produces pollen cones that release pollen.